My name is Natasha Waldorf. Members of the City Council, thank you for considering this resolution condemning incidents of bias, prejudice, discrimination, violence, and anti-Semitism. The resolution is an important step, but I'm here to ask you to do whatever you can to make sure that students like me are protected from anti-Semitism in our schools. I've lived in Alameda my whole life and attended Alameda Public Schools since second grade. For the most part, my school experience has been good. However, last year I was threatened multiple times because I am Jewish, to the point that I felt unwelcome and actually afraid for my safety. In the middle of a class last January, I received a text from an unknown number with a picture of Mr. Clean dressed in a Nazi uniform labeled Mr. Ethnic Cleansing. I thought this must be a mistake or perhaps a bad joke, so I replied with a random picture. Then I received a text containing a picture of a Nazi with the words, "Hans, get the gas." I quickly realized that whoever was sending these texts was not joking around. I was called a kike. I was told Hitler's biggest mistake was not killing my family and that I should apologize to all Germans. The text referred to me by name. Whoever was doing this knew who I am, but I didn't know who was threatening me. I was scared. I told my parents and we went to the police, who said we should work with the school administration. The next day I learned that a German exchange student I knew from one of my classes had instigated the texts. I confronted him about it, and his response was that I should just stop being Jewish if I didn't like it, and that people don't like Jews because of that little country of yours, meaning Israel. He also questioned whether Jews have really been persecuted throughout history. 2 days later, I was waiting for a class to start with a Jewish friend of mine when we overheard two boys making Holocaust jokes. We asked them to stop, and they immediately replied that they wished our families had been thrown in the ovens. After the first incident, my parents went to see the school administration, who took the stance that these anti-Semitic threats were simply rude comments and definitely not hate crimes. Then they tried to dismiss the German student's behavior, saying it must have been due to a language barrier, even though this student had no trouble expressing his hatred in English. When the third incident happened, they again took these as just bad words. My parents talked with the dean and the vice principal, but they clearly didn't understand how hateful, threatening, and frightening these incidents were. Telling a Jew that her family should have been killed in the Holocaust is like telling a black student her whole family should have been lynched. It's a very clear threat, and I can tell you it instills very real fear. The administration says they disciplined the students, but all I know is that I didn't even get apologies from the German student or the two students who threatened me and my friend, despite promises from the administration that I would. I was not asked to fill out a bullying report, even though I was asked to complete one when I witnessed one student push another. No report means no record of these incidents whatsoever. Worse still, I had to sit with these bullies in the same classes for the remaining 5 months of the school year, sometimes with them sitting directly next to me. Not only was seeing them daily difficult, it was clear from their behavior that they believed they had won. In one of my classes, the same kids were telling Holocaust jokes right in front of a teacher who said and did nothing in response. Later in the year, I found a drawing on a desk with the words "Jews are evil," along with a Star of David holding a money bag about to be crushed by a sledgehammer with a swastika on it. At the end of the year, the Jewish Club, which I'm a part of, put up posters for the Jewish American History Month. They were all ripped down within 3 days. I informed the dean, who said it was probably just a mistake by students from the leadership class clearing old posters. The dean never even considered that the incident might be anti-Semitic vandalism and should be investigated. My parents tried to help me. Immediately after I was threatened in January, they spoke repeatedly with the school administration and the superintendent and made constructive suggestions. It didn't make a difference. The superintendent defended all actions taken and told us that all incidences were handled appropriately. Appropriately how? Why didn't the school officials require the bullies to apologize to me and acknowledge that what they'd done was hurtful and wrong? Why was I forced to endure classes every day with these bullies sitting right next to me? Why wasn't the superintendent concerned enough about what was happening to let families know that anti-Semitism was a problem in our high school and to make it clear it would not be tolerated? Why didn't the superintendent show any concern about me feeling safe and welcome at school, especially at a school claiming that everyone belongs here? As if this isn't all bad enough, this past Tuesday I went with my parents to the Board of Education meeting. The board was considering a resolution like this one, denouncing bullying, including anti-Semitism. My father read a statement because I wasn't comfortable enough to do it myself. He told the board about my experiences and how the superintendent knew about all of this since last January and did nothing. After my father finished talking, 2 teachers immediately got up to defend the superintendent, saying he was a wonderful leader and how good he has been for teachers. They also took the opportunity to falsely accuse my family of being unwilling to work with the district. They actually claimed that my story was purposeful manipulation. These 2 teachers were essentially telling me that I don't matter to the district and that I am a liar. The superintendent, who had just been talking about how much he cares about students, watched me get bullied by 2 of his teachers and did nothing. I was so upset and felt so betrayed by people who were supposed to care about me that I had to leave the room and barely managed to hold back my tears until I was outside. What kind of district is this? What kind of teachers demean and bully a student who's already endured threats and bullying from her classmates? What kind of superintendent can claim he will not tolerate bullying of any sort and that he wants to make right what has been wrong and then sit by and watch me be victimized again right in front of his face? Anti-Semitism is a serious problem in our schools. I'm not the only victim, I'm just the only one willing to stand up and fight. Members of the City Council, I hope you'll stand up too. Please do whatever you can to make sure the district makes the necessary changes in its policies and practices so that the district can honestly say everyone belongs here. Thank you.